back to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac from Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston, and we are your hosts. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook at Andrew Roby, Roby Electric, and Roby Realty. We're in here talking with Travis Thomas from Roby Realty. Travis, we were talking about this at the break. Why hire a real estate agent? What if I want to sell my house myself?
So, first off, I'm not a real estate agent. I feel like I should make that pretty clear. I'm not a real estate agent, but I work with real estate agents every single day just because I'm an employee of Roby Realty. I do all the graphic design, media, all that good stuff like we talked about before. So I'm pretty involved in a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm a registered assistant through our MLS here, and so I get emails, I get stats, I get everything, and it's crazy to see how strong the market is. And like you guys were saying earlier in the last segment is, no, I don't think any of us thought we would be here in 2008, 2009. Like, it seemed like it was never going to end. But no, going back to your question is you should use a real estate agent. Number one, it just helps the process. It'll help your nerves. I promise you. Using a real estate agent to help negotiate these deals, like, you're spending an amazing amount of money usually on these houses, and you need somebody there to help protect you, to help guide you, to help you with this process. If you go around for sale by owner, I'm not knocking people who go for sale by owner or anything. Sometimes that can work out great for people, and I've known plenty of my friends. I'm 24, and a lot of my friends have done that recently. But getting a real estate agent to guide you through the process is very much like Andrew Roby's project managers, because they help guide people through that process. Like, we sat in their office because we shared an office with Andrew Roby, general contractor, for the first 10 months or so, and before we moved to Roby Electric with Patrick. And I just heard constantly those PMs on the phone guiding those people through the conversations or guiding the people through the processes, and I feel like we do very similar things like that. So,
well, what is for sale by owner? FSBO? Is that what that stands for?
FSBO? Yes, I believe so.
So, yeah, people always tell me all the time, I don't need to pay that extra 10% for your project manager. But, yeah, you do. Yeah. It's concierge service, and it's value, and you get that with the real estate agent. You pay that extra 3%.
You don't need an Uber driver, but it's great to have one sometimes.
Right.
You know?
Good example. I mean, so basically it's pricing, negotiating, exposure, representation, and
right.
keeping the process smooth.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, yeah, and, yeah, so if you're listing your house to sell for us, I mean, we do everything possible. We promote on Facebook. We promote on Twitter. We try to promote as much as we can everywhere, and we really feel like our network of people, the way we get the word out about the houses is a lot stronger than the average person would be able to.
Well, we're talking about the market, too, and how fast things are moving, and there's a lot of websites out there. I mean, are those accurate information if I want to go do a quick search? I mean, is that stuff right?
I would say there's probably three big ones that everybody uses, Trulia, Zillow, and Realtor. I would recommend sticking with Realtor.com as opposed to Trulia and Zillow, Trulia and Zillow are great resources for you to go find stuff, but there's a lot of instances where they're not completely accurate because the housing or the MLS and the online part of the official real estate commission in our area is not streamed towards those right now, and so it's not always up to date. It's not always accurate. So Realtor.com is more accurate than.
So MLS does stream to Realtor.com for the
I
most
believe
part?
so. I'm not going to say 100%, but I believe so. But yeah, it's definitely more accurate than Trulia and Zillow because we get calls constantly of people looking for properties that they say are still for sale. Look how great this price is on here, and then we look it up and it was sold 9 months ago.
So let me another thing I think where we bring value to the realty with Roby Realty is our leaders and our executives such as Patrick and myself. We've bought and sold property. The Hastons have bought and sold property. Had some wins and had a lot of losers. So which I think is valuable. So we've touched it and smelt it and felt it firsthand, and then we also have managed various rental properties, just trying to be kids doing college funds. We read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, but I think that helps. So I think we got some good advice. Browsing Realtor.com, looking, worst home buying advice. I mean, let's talk about it. I like this one. Hold off. Home prices, don't go buy a house yet. Home prices are going to go down. and then you wake up a year later and they've gone
They're
up
up
10
20,
more
yeah.
percent.
And not even
Same
that. You wake up and a year later and interest rates are 3 times as much, maybe.
I'll tell you. I've said this before. I mean, I'm looking on, just scrolling last night. I think you can get a 30-year mortgage for 3 to 3.5%. And I've said this before. In 2005, I told my father, I said, if interest rates ever got below 5%, we'd buy every piece of property we could buy because you're making money on the low cost to carry it. When I haven't bought anything in a while.
Well,
don't make absolutes in your life. I didn't realize how tight cash would be after
during
the recession.
yeah, I was
you
about
know,
to say.
but it's a couple more. I'll run through this. You don't need to use a real estate agent. You just talked about the value. That's bad advice. That's bad. That's a mistake. Just use listing agent to represent you. So that means it says you might lose some of your opportunity to work out a better deal because they're decided to get the deal done. I might disagree with that. I think if you have an honest listing agent and you call and you're a buyer and you call about a house and you're not already signed up with someone, I think sometimes that can work well.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. We're all about win-wins. The big misnomer and the recession really helped emphasize this is make a low ball offer and negotiate up from there. Well,
What about now? Multiple offers now. I mean, that doesn't work.
My sister's looking at buying a house in Augusta, Georgia. She's an ER doctor down there, and she's all stressed out, and she misses my dad because he would have normally stopped. He would have normally missed every appointment for 2 days, and I'd have had a handle and rode down there and took care of my sister, which is great. We're going to go down in a couple of days. I'm taking my family, and I'm going to look at a house she's under contract on. And I basically said, have you ran comps? She's all nervous. Have you ran comps? And she said, yes, we've ran 14 comps. She's looked at houses for 3 months in the same neighborhood. She's looked at over 30 houses. I said, and she's buying a house very relatively economical to her income. And she can rent the house out pretty much for several $100s more a month than if she has to move. And this, I think her plan will be this will be a long-term rental. I said, look, what's your interest rate going to be? She said 3%. I said, buy the house. Buy the daggone house.
Absolutely.
So a couple more. Never a misnomer is never pay full price. That kind of goes in with starting low and negotiating because you're going to lose it right now in this market. You're going to lose it, especially if it's in the right neighborhood. And then another one is remove contingencies to make your offer stronger. The cleaner you can make a contract, I think, especially in a competing market, the better it's going to be. So that's kind of some advice for people out there wanting to go buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, sellers want a simple process just as much as you do. So, like you said,
I tell you something we understand too, and I'm very reflective. I think this is a good attribute of the Roby family. And speaking on this through my sister. She's buying an economical house for income. She's already in her 30s. She has some savings. I mean, from the outside looking in, from somebody that's bought and sold real estate or a realtor that closes a house every other day, they might not be reflective and say, "Oh, come on, it's easy. Move on, get it done." But I think understanding this is my sister as an example. This is her biggest purchase in her life. And it's an asset that she's going to have to deal with for a long time. So understanding that and understanding the feeling that puts her in, I think our experience working inside Susie Homemaker or Miss Smith's kitchen with her family living there, understanding the pain that brings on the family, I think it lends a good hand in our expertise in that market.
It's all about the customer experience, and I think that's what you're saying is that we know that process. But I mean, we've just carried.
There I go again, fumbling and jumbling, and you hit the nail on the head. I hit my finger 4 times.
No, I don't believe that. Travis, tell us how to get in touch with Roby Realty.
You can call us today at 704-248-3551. You can go to robyhome.com. Check that out. If you want to go right to our listings page, you can go robyhome.com/listings. That's listings plural. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/YourRobyHome. Find us on Twitter at YourRobyHome or Instagram, just Roby Home.
Wow. What about we're at 2000 West Moorhead Street on the corner of Wilkinson Boulevard and Moorhead?
Actually, 2401. I think you got your.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Wow.
That's our Angel
Right
Roby
on the corner,
office.
right
We
on the
love
corner.
Moorhead.
Folks, you're listening to At Home with Roby. We'll be right back.